Well, hello, YouTube community. Good to see you again. And I just wanted to share with you a video on a follow-up to the IBM 224 dictation machine that I have here. I've got a couple of these. And Sela, come here, see. Come here, see. Come here. Sela and I are experimenting with alternate power battery solution for this tape recorder. And as I will explain in the video here, there has been some interest in collecting these and also repairing them and getting power to work on them. So, like I said, Sela and I are working on. I don't know. There must be something on this. She just can't get enough of smelling it. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Anyway, she's getting quite a kick out of this. She's coming back up here to watch me work. So that's what this video is about. Hope you enjoyed. It's a short one. Okay, we've got the IBM 224 dictation device here. We've got a couple of these, two different models. They're Model A and Model B. Just a few variations between the two models. And these are available on eBay. There's two major issues with the IBM 224 dictation device, and you can see how pretty they are in their leather case. The two big issues are that these batteries that go in here are no longer available. And these batteries are a 10 to 12 volt, 11 volt, somewhere in there in that range, depending on which model battery you buy. So these are no longer available. And I have been researching this for about a year and have never found a battery with these dimensions that are even close to the 10 to 12 volts that this device needs to operate. So I've tried a number of different solutions. So the battery is one issue, and you can fix the battery issue by making your own power supply cable. And I finally figured out how to connect power, external power, to the device and operate off of a 12 volt adapter. And that's what this cable was. It's made to work off of a LiPo battery, an 11 volt battery, a LiPo battery, or a 12 volt external power supply. And I created this little epoxy connector to work on the external power. The second issue is that there is a belt in here, a rubber belt, that just disintegrates with age. And so I've got 3 or 4 of these in my inventory. 2 of these are in beautiful working condition now after repairing them. And I had to replace the belt, and there's a little gear in here that breaks. Little tiny gear that breaks. So I modified it to work with a new belt and a new gear, or pulley in my case, and got them to work. As you can hear now, let's see, is this the one that's got the battery in it? No, this is the one that's got the battery in it. And I'll show you the battery in a second. I did a video on this. Testing to see if the recording is still working on battery. We're going to record. Alright, so we're recording once again on the IBM 224 dictation device, and we're running on a battery here at high speed. There's a 2-speed setting, and I'm running at high speed to get a little better audio. So let's rewind this and listen to it. IBM recording is still working on battery. Alright, so we're recording once again on the IBM 224 dictation device, and we're running on a battery here at high speed. There's a 2-speed setting, and I'm running at high speed to get a little better audio. So let's rewind this and listen to it. Alright, so remember, we are listening to a recording that is done on one of these belts. It's not a tape. It's tape material, but it's been IBM created these belts, magna belts they're called. And I got several of these magna belts in one of these purchases. Lucked out on that because these are not easily found. And a 3-inch magna belt. This apparently belonged to a nursing office. And in fact, I think one of these has some information. We'll look at it. But in any case, that's what is recording on these belts. That's a really, really unusual device. But of course, IBM is, top shelf stuff. Back in the day, it was, what was the expression? No one was ever fired from buying IBM. Yeah, here's the hospital. Trumbull Memorial Hospital since 1907. So there's a device without the case on it. And then we can open it up and change the belt by pushing this button here and sliding it open. And there's that belt I was telling you about that's wrapped around, all the way around here. And this thing, the belt just spins, turns on a drum. And this is the audio head that picks up the audio or records the audio onto the belt. So that's what, let's see if I can, no, I don't want to turn it. But there's the belt the drive belt that I was talking about is right there. And this one has a working drive belt, but I had to modify the gears to get it to work. So what I wanted to illustrate today was that when you don't have batteries, you got to come up with some creative way to modify it. So instead of this battery going in here like it's designed to, this battery's no good, and you can't recharge it. It's got mercury in it, and it would explode if you tried to recharge it. So I 3D printed a little battery sleeve and found two 6-volt batteries. Here they are, these little two 6-volt energizers. And I made this little 3D printed case with electrical connection. Goes all the way through, just like this battery would. And these batteries are a little expensive, and they don't have much capacity, as you can imagine. There's not a lot of capacity there. So I'm only going to get probably 2 or 3 hours of playtime out of this setup with these batteries. So I did a little more research and thought, you know what? There's a couple of other options I could go with. I've got this type of battery, which is easily found, but they're more expensive than these batteries. And these are 1.5 volt batteries. I use these in a little transistor radio I've got. And I could put several of those in line like this, where I drop the battery. I could put several of them in line just like this inside a plastic case, just like I did with this one, and come up with about 12 volts roughly. And that would run pretty good because they're pretty hefty little batteries. But they're more expensive. And so I thought, well, I don't want to blow a lot of money on this project. It's just a YouTube video for my technical subscribers. So I bought these for $5. Both of these for $5 total. And they are 3-volt batteries, lithium ion 3-volt batteries. Now, I need 12 volts to run this, 10 to 12. And so I thought, well, what if I put 4 of these batteries in a homemade sleeve like this and tried to operate it that way. So I think that's what we're going to try. And in fact, you know what? My little adapter here that I 3D printed might just work. We're going to see here in just a second. We'll discover this project together. You see, what's the point, Kent? Nobody ever uses these dictation machines anymore. Well, you're right, they don't. But there are still people out there collecting them and playing with them, and I know that to be a fact because I've got one person in the UK that's asked me to 3D print them one of these little cases. Now there you go. that fits. So let's put 2 more in there. That'll give us 12 volts. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if these are jacketed, 2 of these inside a metal jacket. Got to get the polarity correct. It'll run backwards and mess the motor up. And 1 more. Come on here, Sugar Bear. There we go. Okay. Make sure they're all pointing in the right direction. Right, so this is positive and this is negative. And I honestly don't remember I just don't remember which end is which. That doesn't, it's not too helpful, is it? That arrow, well, which way? Arrow this way or arrow this way? I guess it means arrow this way. But it doesn't tell us if it's positive or negative. Insert battery with arrow towards machine. Okay, so can't read the directions. All right. Have no idea. I did know at one time, but I don't know now. And I do not want to run the battery. I don't want to run this unit backwards, or we will have some problems with the belt. We'll have some problems with the... All right, now this is a little thin, a little shy right there, and I don't know whether this connector is going to touch. Yeah, it will. Yeah, it'll touch. So let me figure out the polarity before I plug this, turn this battery in wrong, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I'm going to test, I'm going to hook the external power that I made with a little cord here, and I'm going to plug it into my external power connector, just like that. Positive, oops, got it backwards, can't backwards, positive and negative. Okay, and hook this up.
24 dictation device. We're
Yes,
running
it's
on
running.
a battery here.
It's running off of this 11-volt battery right here. You notice I got the battery pack out. It's empty. And so the reason I'm doing this is what I want to do is, while it's running, I'm going to check the power with the meter here to see if that's positive and or if that's negative, so I can get this polarity correct. And by the way, let's check our battery connections here and see if we actually have. Let me check the camera, see if you can see the meter. Yeah, I think you can. My Greyhound is pacing back and forth up here. I'm not sure she's, when I'm talking like this, she, okay, so it's reading 13 volts. Let me set this where you can see it. My little battery pack reading 13 volts exactly. Okay, so that's a no load, and that's for these little lithium ion batteries, the CR11108 whatever. I got these off Amazon. All right, so we're going to check to see what our power is. I think I've got some documentation that I had written down.
Recording once again on the IBM 224 dictation device. We're running.
Back up here.
So
There we go. Okay.
All right, we're recording on the IBM 244.
All right.
The 224, IBM 224 dictation device.
There's
And we're testing to
12
see
volts or 11 volts.
recording is still working on battery.
And that's what this battery pack is at,
All
for
right,
11
so we're
volts.
recording once again on the IBM 224 dictation device.
So
we're running
the
on a
spring,
battery here at high speed. There's a 2-speed setting, and I'm
trying to talk over that. So the tip of this battery in is positive and the backside is negative. All right. So let's double check our voltages here. Make sure we get positive up. Okay. So this is, yeah. Okay. So this is the end, it's positive. Very good. Positive. So we'll take this. My battery just fell out. I guess I probably could have taped them together, but I don't want them to I want them to be free to move around in that case so that they can touch. Okay, so let's unhook our external power here. So now the battery, the recorder is not running on any power at all. There's no battery in here yet, and there's no external power. And positive is up in here. So let's slide my battery pack in. And put the connector back on. Let's see.
Device. We're running on a battery here at high speed. There's a 2-speed setting, and I'm running at high speed to get a little better audio. So
Okay.
let's rewind
Works
this.
great. Works great. So now we have, let's record. All right, so now we have, we're recording on the IBM 224, and we are using the lithium ion batteries, the CR111, I think is what they're called, CR11108, and those batteries are super duper cheap. They're cheaper than the 6-volt batteries here, and they're actually can be found. Now they're not as powerful, obviously, no near as much current capability and lasting capability as this giant IBM battery, but we're still recording here, so let's listen and see if we actually got a decent recording. Now remember, I told you once before on a previous video that one of the cool things about this IBM belt is that it's random access. So, you know, with a tape you have to rewind it all the way or rewind segments of it. Well, we don't have to do that here. We can push this little button and slide it somewhere wherever we want and then play it, and it'll play.
Right, so now we have.
All right, I'm going to jump ahead.
CR and
See, I'm scrolling anywhere I want.
So let's rewind this and listen to it. All right, so now we have. We're recording on the IBM 224, and we are using the lithium ion batteries, the CR111, I think is what they're called.
We can skip backwards.
The IBM 224, and we are using much current capability and lasting capability as this giant IBM battery.
Okay, so our little battery, 3D printed little battery holder is working great. It works great for these little lithium ion batteries, and it works great, the 3-volt batteries, and it works great with the 6-volt batteries. So like I said earlier, I got a feeling that these 6-volt batteries are manufactured by taking two of these 3-volt batteries and wrapping them in this little metal casing. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if we took this apart, you'd see two little batteries like that welded together. But in any case, whatever, my point being that now we've got a little 3D printed battery supply to give new life to the IBM 224 dictation device, Magna Belt dictation device. Send me your comments and questions or thoughts, any input you might have on this video, and thanks again for watching The Vintage Tech.